Good afternoon. You're with News Live. I'm Natasha Thorpe. Thanks for joining us. And of course, we are continuing with our coverage of the latest political developments surrounding the recall of President Zuma. If you've just tuned in, you will know that the ANC Treasurer, General Paul Mashatile, says the deadline to recall President Zuma is today and that a no-confidence motion will proceed in Parliament tomorrow. The announcement was made following a special meeting by the ANC caucus in Parliament a short while ago. The National Executive Committee decided after a 13-hour-long meeting on Monday to recall the President as head of state.
We are now proceeding with, as the Chief Whip, to proceed with the motion of no confidence tomorrow in Parliament. If the presiding officers can feature that in, so that President Zuma is then removed so that we can proceed to elect President Ramaphosa as the President of the Republic, so that he's able to deliver the State of the Nation address, possibly before the budget speech next Wednesday. But I will leave that to the presiding officers because it's clear that the time is now congested.
Well, let's get a bit more reaction on this now. Our reporter Abra Barbier has been keeping an eye on things outside Parliament for us. Abra, good afternoon to you. At last, some finality, and you've been talking to various opposition members to get their reaction to things. And true to form, they're saying they would rather like to see an impeachment as opposed to a motion of no confidence. Take us through some of the thinking around that.
Natasha, that's correct. I think the bulk of the MPs, of the opposition party MPs I spoke with earlier, did say that they would have preferred an impeachment because the sanctions the sanctions that come with an impeachment are a lot harsher than if the president were to vacate his office via the motion, which is going to go ahead tomorrow. The Speaker's office has now also just confirmed that the motion will be scheduled for tomorrow. With me to speak more about that as well, I have the Chief Whip of the EFF, Floyd Shivambu, who this, of course, originally was the EFF's motion. It still remains an EFF motion, sir. There seems to be some confusion now because the ANC's now made an amendment, but this remains an EFF motion, correct?
No, look, yes, in terms of the rules of Parliament, any party can amend a motion that is before the National Assembly. So the motion that has been tabled before the National Assembly, a motion of no confidence against Jacob Zuma, is a motion that is going to be led by the economic freedom fighters. It was initially meant for the 22nd of February, and now it has been brought to tomorrow, the 15th of February, and it is still under the leadership of the EFF. And of course, the ANC or any other party can come with a proposed amendment to the motion. And the rules say specifically that the amendments must not fundamentally divert from the intended outcomes of the motion. So the ANC has since said to us that they are going to propose an amendment which is going to reaffirm ultimately that Jacob Zuma must be removed as a president of the Republic, and therefore the entire cabinet must resign. So that is what we're going to be dealing with tomorrow, and we're happy as the EFF that this is a terminative motion of no confidence. The first motion of no confidence tabled by the EFF is a terminative motion that is going to discontinue the presidency of Jacob Zuma. We've been saying politically throughout that Jacob Zuma must not continue as a president of the Republic. It looks like we're going to achieve that particular objective. And at least for the first time, Parliament will be unanimous because all political parties that are represented in this Parliament are unanimous on the view that Jacob Zuma must not continue as a president of the Republic. And we're going to make sure that such becomes the case when we debate, deliberate and vote on the motion of no confidence tomorrow.
Mr. Shivambu, thank you so much. I know that you're heading off to the Chief Whips Forum, which is happening now at 2 o'clock.
Yes, certainly we're going to the Chief Whips Forum to just deal with issues of programming in terms of what happens with the motion of no confidence, when does it happen, what time exactly, and then immediately after the Chief Whips Forum, we're going to go to the programming committee.
Sorry, Mr. Shivambu, I have to stop you there. I'm so sorry about that. Natasha, back to you in the studio.
All right, Mzwa, my apologies.